What we're doing to make our parchment, my husband and I are taking the course together, and so we've got a lot of parchment that we're getting to make. What we're doing to make our parchment is, we've already made quite a few sheets. What we're doing to make our parchment is, he made some coffee and I added water and a little bit of vinegar to it, and we've been using a sponge brush to brush the parchment, and I'll show how I do, which is much sloppier than what he does. And then after I brush the coffee and vinegar solution all over the parchment, then we have been laying them out or hanging them up to dry. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Stefan. Like my wife said, we're doing this together. We've got coffee in a bowl. We're trying to make this one side of the parchment not be white, so that it'll look like a animal skin a little bit, and we'll have to damage it or do some stuff later, so to try to make it look like some of the things we saw online. But anyway, this is going to make it look pretty good. We've just got the one side with the coffee here. We're going to see how it dries, and we may have to go over some more or do something with some of it just to make it look like animal skin. It dries different than what you see right now. It'll dry darker and have stain marks, so we need to make sure that it looks right when it's done. But right now we got to let it dry, and then we can start goofing with making capillaries and holes and sewing them together and all that other stuff. So we're trying to damage one of these parchments. You can see we damaged that one and sewed it all up. We actually did not use cat gut because our neighbors like their cat, so we used common thread. She's ripping that up. We're trying to damage it like some of the parchments that you'll see in the videos, in the pictures. We tried using a watercolored pencil on the edge of this, but it didn't end up looking like some of the damaged parchments we saw. So I'm going to go ahead and try and damage this one here. Okay, so this parchment here, it has some nice dark edges along there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to rip it. I'm going to rip it as if it were ripped. I haven't figured out how to make those nice circular holes. So this would be a rip like if when the tanner was tanning the skin, if the skin actually stretched out and ripped. We're going to go ahead and sew that up. I'm thinking of, yeah, we'll go ahead and take off some of these corners, but they aren't really ripped on the corners. It may just be where the tanner didn't have enough skin to go, but we're doing this in the 20th century, so that's how we're going to do it. We'll sew this guy up in a couple seconds here. Most of the stuff, it doesn't look ripped. It looks like it's crinkled up or whatever, or just aged. But I don't have anything to really age this with. This is the oldest document that we have. It's just a New Testament from 1864. Nothing special. A New Testament in German. You'll see I'm not wearing gloves. This is not very uncommon. But I'm looking at the damage on this. This is paper, not parchment. But you can see a lot of the damage on this. We might try to replicate this. I've had insect damaged books, but I didn't keep any of them. I don't know if silverfish ever got after parchment. They make actually a beautiful and ugly damage inside. Lori found a really nice picture of an insect damaged book. It looked like a hollowed out tree. It was horrid. But I don't have any more of the books that I had damaged by insects. But you can see damage on several of these places. This is paper though, this is not parchment, but I may replicate some of this because I can sit here and look at it. Okay, this is me threading a needle here. I'll pretend I'm a 19th century monk. Actually, a dude in the Mark Twain novel, okay. They probably had needles. This is a needle. They probably had needles in medieval times. It would have been made of bone or else made of metal with a very precise blacksmith. Alright, hold on. Alright, let's check this out. Check out my Superman monk skills. Okay, hold on. I have no Superman monk skills. Okay. Alright. Oh, you can shut off the video. Yeah, my wife tied a knot in one of these ends. She told me to tie a knot, and I was tying a knot in both threads because I'm not a very competent monk. Alright. Never really darned socks. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and we're going to fix this. Looks like they use a zigzag. Actually, did they use sewing? They had zigzags on the sewing machines, right? No. My wife is telling me they did not have zigzags on the sewing machine, but they sewed with a zigzag motion. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to start by, you better stop this video. This is the one that my wife did. I'm not a very good monk, but you can see what it looks like. Look at that beautiful hand stitching.